Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
My dog went flying through the air over the tree. I don't know how it did it.
Okay.
One tragic aspect of the Great Smoky Mountains that has gained widespread attention in recent years is also often linked to the legends of Bigfoot and Sasquatch in the Smokies. The number of high-profile cases of people mysteriously disappearing in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park is remarkable, and people still vanish in the park to this day. Among all the unsolved disappearances in the Smokies, the case of Dennis Martin stands out as one of the most mysterious. The disappearance of Dennis Martin is one of the most popular cases of missing persons in the history of the United States. The missing boy's fate in the Smokies is still a mystery after more than 50 years. Dennis Martin, a 6-year-old boy from Tennessee, went missing on June 14, 1969, at Spence Field in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Despite the efforts of nearly 1,500 searchers, including park rangers, the FBI, the U.S. Army, Green Berets, and Special Forces, no trace of the boy was ever found. The search was the largest in the history of national parks, and stretched over more than 60 square miles over the course of 3 months, and the disappearance still haunts many of the involved searchers to this day. On June 14, 1969, 6-year-old Dennis Martin, his 2 brothers, and a cousin were playing a game of hide-and-seek as his father and grandfather talked nearby in the grassy area of Spence Field, a meadow which serves as a crossroads for several trails in the higher elevations of the park. 3 boys went one way, but little Dennis went to hide behind a bush. A few minutes later, the 3 boys jumped from their hiding places and frightened the grown men. It was supposed to be a joke, but the pounding of the hearts would never subside. Little Dennis, just 6 days shy of his 7th birthday, was never seen again. The search went on for more than 3 months without any results. The case took a new twist, as a Tennessee man named Harold Key contacted park officials about a month after the disappearance of the boy. The man stated that he had visited the park on the same weekend Dennis went missing and wandered the woods near Cades Cove together with his family that Saturday sometime between 6 and 7 p.m. He stated the following: "When we got about half a mile or maybe 3/4 of a mile from the car, we heard a scream. A troubled scream. A sickening, enormous scream. We couldn't tell which direction it came from, but it sounded like it came from higher on the mountain to me. Minutes later, something moved in the brush. I looked across the creek and saw a man in the bushes. I couldn't tell much about him because he was definitely trying to keep from being seen. I thought maybe he was a moonshiner." Another article from 1969 quotes Harold Key with this remarkable comment: "As we heard the scream, we walked about 200 yards. And then my son said they could see a bear," Key said. "But it wasn't a bear. It was a man hiding in some bushes. He was definitely avoiding us." Park rangers ultimately concluded Key must have been at Sea Branch, a small stream that crosses the south leg of Cades Cove Loop Road, west of Rowan's Creek. That would have put him roughly 7 to 9 miles from Spence Field by trail. To cover that distance within 2 hours or less would have taken Olympic-level effort, especially for someone avoiding the trails. And that's without accounting for how a kidnapper or killer could have crept up on the missing boy in the open meadow on a sunny day. A man looking like a bear? Covering distance in the forests in Olympic effort? However, no trace of Dennis Martin has ever been found since that summer afternoon in June 1969. The disappearance of the young boy slowly faded from the local headlines until October 8, 1976, when 16-year-old teenager Trenny Gibson seemingly vanished into thin air while on a hiking trip with her high school class. Although Trenny was walking alone, there were groups reportedly behind and in front of her, but no one claimed to have seen anything.